had a very serious war with Chechnya, and they were very ruthless in stamping Chechen rebels out. And they've got a brewing situation in Dagestan, and China's got Xinjiang. And if, Iran's export of terrorism works so well, then possibly Russia might find themselves in a position where they don't really want to aggravate religious leaders, lest, as you say, we've got a lot of young people in a lot of places with a lot of energy, lest they provoke some sort of a jihad in their own borders. And that could very well start eroding them from the inside out.
Oh, I think that's already underway. I mean, when you look at the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh and even sort of I'm going to call it the unsettled brewings in Bosnia, not to mention the Transnistria, which is that chunk of sort of Russian sympathetic Russian sympathizers grafted onto, I think it's Moldova, if I remember the map. You're in a situation where you're 100% right, and it's going to go either two directions. It's going to go a more Islamic jihadist type of governmental. Maybe we'll see a lot more Sharia law, but also it could go very nationalistic. Right? Like, so it's at a fork roads right now. And, Russia has to do peacekeeping in its own backyards in those eastern stands, if you will, because of that, because you do have ethnic groups that are prepared to throw down. Some of the conflicts between the ethnic groups go back 100, 300, 500 years. Right? Stalin backed one side, and then that side is always perceived as being sympathetic towards Russia. And there's already somebody getting stomped on by, Russia. So, this is an example of how post-war transition from the Cold War to the current state, where, this has only really happened, this transformation to sort of Western ideology and stuff like that. It's less than a generation long, right? There are plenty of people still in those countries that remember the heel of the Iron Curtain, no question about it. And so this has affected the psyche of these particular nations, and they've now got a taste for Western goods. And I think they'll find without the heavy boot of Russia, they will start drifting apart. And as you eloquently put, I mean, if they drift into a more fundamentalist Islamic approach, then that could certainly kick off a number of different challenges in the region for sure.